Hello everyone and welcome to just a very late plan with me video. Sorry I couldn't upload it sooner, but I just didn't have the time honestly. But yeah, anyways, here we are, and as you could see, I'm doing a Totoro theme this month. My neighbor Totoro is truly one of my absolute favorite movies, right after Spirited Away. And both of those are actually now available on Netflix, which is so awesome. So if you haven't seen them already, I would definitely give them a try. Now for my cover page, I was in a very painterly mood this month, so all throughout the spread I'm gonna be creating little illustrations inspired by scenes in the movie. So on the cover here I'm painting Totoro and Mei, and it's like in the beginning of the movie, or like sort of in the beginning, when Mei first meets Totoro in his little meadow, and it's just all green and beautiful, and they're like little butterflies and they just kind of fall asleep together. And yeah, that's just such a wholesome scene and I just love it, so I thought it would be perfect for my cover. And for the painting I'm using watercolors from tubes, so they're really nice and opaque, and I'm just kind of experimenting with the colors, mixing them, matching as I go. And some of them are gouache colors and some of them are watercolors, so it's kind of a mix of the two of them, but it's both water-based colors, so yeah. And on the side there you can see I added some masking fluid just to block out some leaves in the foreground, and that means I can later just peel it off or like rub it off, and then I can add more color in the foreground, and that would just give it more sort of dimension. So you'll see that in a bit. For the colors of Totoro's fur, I used some black, some white, and just a little bit of Van Dyke brown, and it just makes this sort of grayish brown fur. And then for Mei, I mixed up some skin color with just some brown, some white, and I used a little bit of red and a little bit of yellow. Yeah, her dress is like a pinkish red and her hair is brown. Oh yeah, I also used some masking fluid for those little butterflies you can see there. And then I let all of that dry, and then I went in with a bunch of green colors, so some really dark ones, and then towards the top right corner I made them a little bit brighter, so like as if the sun was shining from the top right corner into the picture, and then just kind of being very careful around the characters. But with these colors it's really good because you can always come back and just cover something up if you did something wrong. So yeah, as you can see there, I'm adding some yellow into the green and making it a little bit brighter. So for my painting process in general, I like to just block in the colors first and then add details later, so yeah, so that I just kind of know where the colors are first, and then I can just add on top of that. So yeah, here you can see me adding the bright green in the foreground. And then I also mixed up a little bit of a darker green again for the foreground, just to add more dimension to the leaves. And then I also used some really bright, well, pretty much just yellow, to just add some more highlights to the leaves in the front. And then I'm also adding more leaves in the background. By the way, I know a lot of you probably don't have the time to paint a lot in your bullet journal. I mean, I barely have the time, to be honest. So I'm gonna be selling prints, or rather the scans of my paintings, through Gumroad. I'm gonna leave a link in the description. So yeah, they're not gonna break your bank or anything, but they're just gonna be available for like, I don't know, a few euros or a few dollars, you know what I mean? So if you want to check them out, I would really appreciate it. I'm gonna link it down below. Here I'm using a fine liner, just a black one, just to add the line work and kind of outlining, and also adding some details like the face and the whiskers and stuff like that. Then I'm using my my favorite white gel pen. It's the Uniball Signal white gel pen, and I'm just adding some like little dust bits and also the title. And I did try to write the title in Japanese or like kanji, but I don't actually know how to write it, so please don't roast me in the comments. I really tried. But yeah, I also outlined the characters a little bit so that they stand out better from the background. And then I'm just peeling off the washi tape that just protected the edges, and that's pretty much it. I'm also going to be uploading a video of this painting I did in like a slower version, because I have to speed it up quite a lot for this one. So if you want to check that out, I'll leave a link once I uploaded it, and it should be up in the next couple of days. Also, if you do decide to recreate the paintings, I would also recommend not painting directly in the bullet journal like I did. It does just warp the paper and it can transfer, which you'll see in a bit. I made that mistake, so in the future I would probably just use some different paper, just like extra paper I have, and then just scan them and print them out so that I can stick them into my bullet journal. Just a quick side note. Alright, so now for the usual quote page, I'm using some brown craft paper and my white gel pen, and I'm writing a quote by Miyazaki, and it says, "Always believe in yourself, do this, and no matter where you are, you will have nothing to fear." I just thought that was quite nice. And then I'm also adding some of those little butterflies and some dots, as well as a border all around the paper. Alright, moving on to my monthly overview. I've been doing a single page for like the last couple of months, and it's just been working really well for me, so that's what I'm doing here. I'm gonna change the title later, so don't copy what I'm doing there. But yeah, I'm just creating a little calendar there, and for my color palette I chose a really dark green that goes with like the leaves and stuff like that, and then also a dark-ish gray that just fits with like Totoro's colors. I'm just writing the dates and the weekdays. I'm also gonna change those up later, so yeah, a lot of changing this month, but yeah, that's just nothing new here. Yeah, and then on the bottom of the calendar I'm again drawing another Totoro, and this time I'm starting with a line work, so with a fine liner, and the lines are gonna be covered mostly, but it was just easier to paint that way because you can have a clear guide of like where to put the color. And this scene is from when Mei and Tatsuki are waiting for their dad at the bus stop, and Totoro just kind of joins them, and he's really excited about the rain and stuff. And he has this little like umbrella and the little leaf on top of his head, and he just looks really happy and cute. So yeah, I did have to darken the color there, as you can see. Sometimes you just have to play around with it, but with these colors you can easily just paint over stuff. Yeah, so for the painting I can't really explain anything else. I think it's pretty self-explanatory if you just watch what I'm doing. So to kind of protect the painting I already did from the background colors, I am again adding some masking fluid, and it actually worked really well. I haven't really used it before, but you just kind of apply it where you don't want the color to go and it's really easy to use and dries pretty quickly. You just have to be careful not to layer it too thickly so that it dries quicker. But so yeah, I'm just adding like a little border basically, and then once that's dry, I'm going in with a really dark bluish gray and I'm kind of feathering out the edges. I don't want it to be too perfect, and I thought that fit pretty well with the whole theme. Now once that's dry, I'm rubbing off the masking fluid. You can just use your finger or like a kneaded eraser, I think, and it comes up really well. Yeah, I just haven't had any problems with it. Oh yeah, and then here I'm again adding the line work, just outlining whatever got a little bit lost in the paint and just adding a few more details. For the rain, I'm actually using a round brush, but kind of spreading the bristles, as you can see. Yeah, and I kind of used a lot there, but you can just dab it off, it's fine. And lastly, just giving it an outline again and removing the washi tape. Now, like I said, I'm gonna be covering up the title there, so I just glued some more craft paper on there. Oh yeah, and then, as you can see, it transferred because I didn't set it or anything, so don't make my mistake. I could peel it off, however, and just replace it. Here I'm adding a little border around the calendar, and also starting on the sections on the side that I always do, which are my events section, tasks, goals, notes, and Instagram and YouTube trackers. And yeah, on the top I'm writing the title with my gel pen, and also on the side, and yeah, I think that looks just a lot better. I'm using the gray as well on the bottom there, and then I'm adding some little butterflies on the top. And like I said, I wanted to change the weekdays as well. I was feeling like it was a little bit monochrome, and so I used some gold just to give it a little bit of an accent. Okay, so next up I'm moving on to my trackers. So I'm doing the same title, and then I'm just using the green for my habits. So yeah, here I'm just writing the title. So I have a page for my habits, and then one for my sleep and water trackers. I also drew like this tiny Totoro because he's so cute. Yeah, and then if you haven't seen any of my other videos yet, I do like to split up my habits into daily, weekly, and monthly habits. So yeah, I'm just writing the habits and then the weekdays, and I messed up quite a lot because I wanted it to start on Sunday because that's the 1st of March, and I don't know what was happening. But yeah, then I'm just adding this little outline of the calendar, and yep, then just doing the rest for my weekly habits, and just a box for my monthly habits. And then on the other side, I'm doing this graph type tracker again. I did the same layout as last month, just changing up the colors. And yeah, I really enjoyed using that last month. It was the first month I actually did it, but I really enjoyed it. And yeah, I'm gonna probably keep using it. So yeah, moving on to the next double page, it's gonna be my brain dump page, and I wanted to do another illustration because I don't really use a lot of space on my brain dump, so I thought I could just use a little more space for a little illustration. And this one is of Totoro and his little like buddies, or his little like the tiny Totoros. And they're just playing music on top of the trees in the night, and I just generally love the style of Studio Ghibli movies. They're just so beautiful. I don't know. I think the color palettes are wonderful, and yeah. And this one I'm using a lot of like muted blues because it is during the night, and so everything just gets like a blue shift. So yeah, I'm starting with the tree and then just blocking in Totoro's colors. I tried not to go over like the white spots there, but in the end I just kind of covered them anyways. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say. Just enjoy watching, I don't know. Oh yeah, and this time I actually didn't use the masking fluid. I just used a larger round brush first to just kind of block in the color, and then I went in with like a really fine brush to add the details and just go around the paint. And that also worked just fine, so you don't need a masking fluid if you don't have any. I actually really love the way this one came out in the end. I think probably because of the color palette, I don't know, it really appeals to me. But yeah, and then here I'm adding again the details with a fine liner. For Totoro's eyes, I also used the white gel pen just to give him the whites back again. And I also used more white in the background for the sky and also, sorry, like for the stars. And for the leaves and the trees on the bottom, I just used it to kind of outline it. And again, for Totoro himself, or just the characters in general, I just feel like they stand up a lot better that way. So yeah, then just peeling off the washi tape. It always helps just to keep the pages a little more flat, so they don't warp as much as they usually do, and also just to protect the edge and make it look a little more clean. And then on the top again, doing the same header, and yep, I'm just writing brain dump. And then I did draw more butterflies and also a little tiny Totoro just walking or like jumping across there. Alrighty, so we made it to the last spread. This is my first weekly spread of March, and I'm using the green for the weekdays and then the gray for like little boxes, and I made them a little rounded. I just thought that fit the theme pretty well. And then writing the days with white, and then I drew like a little tiny Totoro for each day, so just for the week, no, for the dates, sorry. So to write in the dates, I just kind of outlined one and wrote it in like on him. I don't know, that sounds kind of weird. But yeah, and those are actually really easy to do. They don't take a lot of effort or anything. So yeah, and then on the bottom I'm adding a sleep tracker, expense tracker, a goal section, and a task section as always. And I did just add like a little background behind the Totoros to make them just stand out a little better. And then again, adding the same header, kind of struggling there. But yeah. Okay, and then on the bottom right, I'm doing one last illustration here. I had to sketch it out first because I didn't really know what to put there yet. And then I'm adding the washi tape on the side. And it's from the movie where Totoro is basically like waving goodbye, I think, to Mei and Satsuki. But yeah, it just looks really cute, and it's more like a happy color palette in comparison to the others. So yeah, he's like standing on top of a tree and he's being lit by the sun, sort of coming from the left side. And yeah, I just thought it was really cute. So yeah, as you can see, the sky is a very bright blue. Again, I didn't use the masking tape just because the silhouette is not that hard to like go around. So yeah, that worked just fine. And then I'm darkening the leaves on the bottom there. They get kind of more bright and more saturated towards the left side because that's where the sun would be hitting it. And then I also added some yellow along the edges. And yeah, then just adding more details during the line work. And then again, I'm adding an outline with the white gel pen, and I also added some little soot spirits. And then just peeling off the washi tape, and then I did decide to add a little bit of like a beige gray to the tiny Totoros. I just thought it made them look a little more put together. I don't know. And then again, I'm adding some gold accents just because I wanted it to be more colorful. And yep, that's pretty much it. I really hope you enjoyed this video. It was a lot of fun and I just love the film, so definitely check it out if you haven't seen it already. So yeah, here's just a little flip through. I actually really love the cover page. I haven't really done such a painting in just ever, I think. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye!